Hello, very good morning. Myself, Dr. M. Lakshmi Narasimhacharyalu, Professor in ECE, St. Peter's Engineering College, Hyderabad. So now we are going to discuss about the introduction part of the signals and systems, because in this semester we have second year, first semester 2020-2021 academic year, we have signals and systems subject. So in this the total we have 5 units. In the unit 1 is the signal analysis, which is the basic of the signals and systems. So here what we are going to study means, the first we need to know about the all basics of the signals and systems. What is the analogy between the vectors and signals, orthogonal signal space, signal approximation using orthogonal function, mean square error, in the closed or complete set of orthogonal functions, and orthogonality in the complex functions, classification of signals and systems, the exponential and sinusoidal signals, the concepts of impulse function, unit step function, and signal functions. So here in this chapter, basically we used to go for the what is the classification of the signal, and what is the actual meaning of the signal, and how the system in different types, just to say different types of signals, we say that what is the application of signal and what are the applications of the system, and all will come into the picture, and it is a basic chapter for this signals and systems. And the second one unit is the Fourier series, third unit is the signal transmission through the linear systems. So fourth chapter is the Laplace transformation, and that is a part A in the fourth chapter, and part B is the jet transformation, and fifth one is the sampling theorem. The correlation is the part B of the fifth. So here generally we used to take the textbooks prescribed from the university. So that is, the first one is the signal systems and communication, which is by B.P. Lati in the 2013 edition, and signals and systems by A.V. Oppenheim, A.S. Wilsky, and S.H. Nawabi. It is the second edition. So these two are the textbooks for this signals and systems subject. And more we need to refer the books, that is the reference books, that is the signal systems by the Simon Haykins and Van Veen, which is the Willy publications, which is the edition 2, and signals and systems by the A. Ramakrishna Rao, which is in 2008, Tata McGraw-Hill, and fundamentals of the signals and systems by Michael J. Robert, 2008, McGraw-Hill MGH International edition, and signals and systems and the transforms by C.L. Phillips, J.M. Parr, and Eve A. Riskin, which is the third edition in 2004, and last book is the signals and systems by the K. Dirgarao, which is Becausers, 2018. And these are the reference books what we need to refer about this subject. Now we are going to talk about the actual introduction part of the signal. So here, what is the basic of the signal? The intent of this introduction to idea about the signals and systems as a field of study and its applications. So here, first of all, we will try to look into the formal definition terms of signals and systems, and then we need to go for further to introduce simple examples which may be better understand for the subject. So in this, what is the introduction part? So we need to go signal. It is a signal a function of one or more variables. We need to say the signals is a function of one variable or the two variables. For example, used to take the signal is a speech signal or a voltage signal, whatever it may be. This is the one-dimensional signal. A signal is formally defined as a function of one or more variables that conveys information on the nature of a physical phenomenon. So this is a good example for the one-dimensional signal. That means the function of a single variable. That is, example is a speech signal or a voltage signal. For example, you used to take for the voltage signal, the voltage across the 2-point varying as a function of time. So we'll use to take the two axes will be there, and the f of t on the y-axis and the time on the x-axis. The function of the variable which is with respect to the time actually. So the two-dimensional signal, this is the another two-dimensional, because already we say that signal is basically it is a function of one or more variables. So therefore one variable means either the speech signal or voltage signal, whatever it may be. So now we'll coming to the two-dimensional signals. There is a function of two variables, that is example is the image, you say that is a good example for the two-dimensional. For example, you say the photograph, the color and intensity as a function of the two-dimensional space generally. So otherwise you used to take a force pattern also there, the force varying as a function of the two-dimensional space. And another is the video signal also there. There is a color and intensity as a function of two-dimensional space and time. Okay, so this is about the signal definition. Now we'll coming to that the system. What is a system basically? Without system there is no signal generally. If we will say signal will generate by using of the system generally, right? A system is formally defined as an entity that manipulates one or more signals to accomplish a function, thereby yielding a new signals, right? So here this is the system consists of the input and output as shown in figure. Just to see that the motor, if we'll applying a voltage input, then we'll get the mechanical work at the output. That means this is a system. Signals will be generating itself when we are giving input to that. So that is the system. So now already we talked about the examples of the signals. So now we'll coming to that the examples of the systems. Generally used to take oscilloscope is a good example for the system. That means voltage signal with the two-dimensional image characteristics of the voltage signal generally. So here used to come the examples of the systems. Oscilloscope, already I told that a computer monitor. This is also a good example for the two-dimensional, the system. That means the input voltage pulses from the CPU and output a time varying display. This is a computer monitor. Already you know that the system, of course, we have the computer consists of a CPU, input output device and monitor. But here we used to take the monitor, computer monitor is a system. So an accelerating mass, this is also force as a function of time, maybe look at it as a input signal, and velocity as a function of time as the output signal. So this is the good example for the system. And if we're coming to the capacitance, terminal voltage signal may be looked at as the input, current signal as the output. If we'll take a capacitor, we have two terminals. If your terminal voltage signal may be looked at as the input, but the current signal as that at the output, right? So this is about the system. So now what are the applications of these signals and systems? Because it is an engineering subject, which is a very, very, very basic fundamental subject for the communication engineering generally. Because without the signals and systems, there is no communication. So we are coming to this, the application areas, how? What are the applications of this signals and systems, which is control systems, controlling. This is a good application. And the communications, signal processing. These areas are need the signals and systems basics. So now communication. If you take a communication means what actually? Communication means it have the three devices generally. One is the transmitter, another one is the receiver, another one is the channel. The channel in between the transmitter and receiver. While the signal is generating from the transmitter, the signal is transmitted or traveling towards to the receiver via channel. You say that the channel means, you say here the free space is the channel. So, and the signal processing, DSP, digital signal processing, because generally the signals may be in classification, later we will discuss, but the analog and digital, what is the analog signal? Analog signal, you say that the general speech signal or whatever it may be, voice signal and all. But the digital signal is a little bit different, that is a discrete, always we consider as zeros and ones like that, right? So these three are the applicative parts for the signals and systems. So now, what are the control applications? In deep we will go to that. Industrial control and automation, the control the velocity or the position of an object. So industrial control automation, this is the excellent application in industries, right? The control the velocity or the position of the object. We will say that, for example, you say in a radar system. What is generally radar? Radar is a radio. What is a radar? In radar systems, we have to send a signal from the transmitter through the antenna. Radio detection and ranging, that is actually. So while the signal is transmitted through the antenna is using as a duplexer, so that only one antenna system is used for the receiving and transmitting. So while the signal is what we call delivered from the antenna, that means it is focuses towards the object, while the signal travels to the object and it hits the surface of the object and it will return back to the antenna system. And again antenna feeds the signal, it is towards to the receiver. That is the control action will be there because the mechanical tuning also there, electronic tuning also there, which is a good application for this, the control and automation. So the example, controlling the position of the valve or the shaft of the motor. This is in electrical engineering side. It is a good example. And the important tools generally used to take the time domain solution of a differential equations, transfer function for using the Laplace transformations, and the stability. That's why in these signals and systems, we used to take the Fourier series, Fourier transformation, Laplace transformation, jet transformation, and correlation. All will coming to the subsequent chapters. So these all are the basic things for the applicative parts in engineering. So this is the excellent application by using the signals and systems and control applications. Now the communication applications. You say that the transmission of information over channel, so the channel may be free space, coaxial cable, the fiber optic cable. Just now we say that communication system consists of generally transmitter, channel and receiver. The channel in between the transmitter and receiver. So therefore, how the signal is transmitted from transmitter to the receiver section. So this is the signal propagating, either electromagnetic wave or you say that the photon, whatever it may be. So here a key component of a transmission, the modulation, analog and digital communication. Generally used to take analog and digital communication, which are in the next semester subjects generally, analog and digital communication. So for that subject, this is the basic. So n number of applications in a communication system, either microwave communication, satellite communication, radar communication, and as well as fiber optic communication, like that. So therefore, this is the signal why we are taking this? Signals and systems applications. This is a communication application. Now we'll coming to this, the signal processing applications. Signal processing applications, application of algorithm to modify signals in a way to make them a more useful. This is the very good application, the signal processing. And what are the goals in this? The efficient and the reliable transmission, the storage and display of informations, right? Information extraction and the enhancement. These are the main goals of that. So here, what are the examples in this generally? The speech and audio processing, multimedia processing, and underwater acoustic, the biological signal analysis like this. So here, excellent application of the signals and systems is the signal processing. So the extension of the signals and systems is the DSP subject. So digital signal processing. This is excellent application in emergent technologies. So now the classification of signals. What are the general classification of the signals? You say that the general classification of the signals is, so the continuous time and the discrete time. The first one is, you say that the continuous time and the discrete time signals. So here, what is the continuous time signal? Okay, so here just you see that a continuous time signal is a signal is said to be a continuous time signal if the signal is defined for continuous value of independent variable. How will say actually a signal is said to be continuous time signal if the signal is defined for continuous value of independent variable. For example, you say that, so here one function is there, v of t is equal to a sine of omega t plus phi, like that you say. So you used to take a sine function is there. If we'll take the variation is as phi is equivalent to 0, so therefore a sine omega t. So where omega is the 2 pi by t, where t is the time period. Okay, I'll explain later. Next one is the discrete time signal. That means the instantaneous signaling, like that is called the discrete time signal. And another one is the even and odd signals. Even signal means cosine function will come, odd signal means sine function will come. Periodic and non-periodic signals. Deterministic and random signals, energy and power signals. These are the classification of the signal generally. Used to take, this is the continuous and the discrete time signals. So here what is the CT signal? That means a signal is said to be a continuous time signal if it is defined for all time t. You will see that as shown in above figure, you say that the signal is continuous. There is no gaps. This is called the continuous time signal. If you will coming to this is the discrete time signal. A discrete time signal is defined only at a discrete instance of time. Just you will see that this is the left side, A is the continuous, is the B is the discrete, you say that. So here, just you will see what is the main difference between them. Always we consider x of t here, but it is x of n. Always we consider for the continuous time signal is t. For the discrete time signals is n. So therefore, x of n is equivalent to the x of n into tc, where tc is the sampling period, you say that. Where what we say n is equal to the 0, 1, 2, 3, either plus or minus. So this is the difference between the continuous time and the discrete time signals. A discrete time signal is defined only at a discrete instance of time. But continuous is the continuity signal. There is no gap, there is no instantaneous, but here it is the instantaneous signal. This is the main difference between the continuous and discrete time signals. Now we'll come into the even and odd. What is the even? What is the odd? These two are very important. If you'll coming to that, the even signal, for example, you see here, this is the even signal. You say this is the xy axis is there, the t is on x axis and function is on y axis, you say that. So here -1 to 1 with the amplitude of 0.5. So you say that x of minus t is equal to the x of t. These two amplitudes are equal with the same time periods. So x of minus t equal to x of t for all t. In the similar way, we'll coming to this, the even signal is for the discrete way, just you say here, this is the discrete signal, x of n. X of minus n equal to the x of n for all n. That is the main difference between the even and odd signals. This is always a cosine function, even means. Okay. So now this is a symmetric about the vertical axis, you say that. So here this is indicated by the xe of t because of the even signal. This is the x of n with respect to the time. This is sequences n like. So now even and odd signals. What is the odd signal? Even signal already you know that. How we'll consider a even signal? Now we'll consider that the odd signal, which is the sine function, will come generally. You will observe that at the origin, it may go in a positive side and the negative side like this with the same amplitude with the time periods of equal. But it is a phase reversal. Therefore, the odd signal is x of minus t equal to minus x of t for all t. What is the difference? Previously, the same x of minus t equal to x of t for all t, but here x of minus t equal to minus x of t because the phase reversal is there for both signals. So here similarly you used to go for the discrete signal, x of minus n equal to minus x of n like this. So this is about the even and odd signals, even and odd signals. Now we'll coming to this, the next, what are the example, just you will understand, for the understand purpose, just we'll see that. Consider the signal x of t equal to sine nt by t, where t is in between the minus t to t, or otherwise 0. So therefore, is the signal x of t an even or an odd function of time? What type of function, what type of signal will consider by using of this equation? This is the sine nt by t. So just you will see, replacing t by minus t here in this equation, what we get actually sine of minus nt by t. So therefore minus sine of minus theta equal to minus sine theta. Therefore you will get directly here x of minus t equal to sine of minus nt by t, where t is in between minus t to t. Now we will get from that equation, just will say minus sine nt by t, where t is in between minus t to t. Otherwise it is 0. So therefore what we get the function finally? Minus x of t. What we got x of t here? X of t equal to sine nt by t, but we got minus sine nt by t. Therefore minus x of t for all t. So therefore finally we'll get x of minus t equal to minus x of t. Then we'll take this function is an odd signal. X of t is an odd signal. Okay, good example for this. Now we'll take another one, decomposition, even odd decomposition of a signal. How will say that? Consider an arbitrary signal x of t, where x of t is equivalent to the composition of even and odd functions. So therefore xe of t plus x naught of t, you say that. But we'll consider that even function, already you know that x of minus t equal to x of t from the basic analysis of odd and even and odd functions. So therefore while you applying that here, xe of minus t equal to xe of t, x naught of minus t equal to the minus x naught of t. But again we will substitute t equal to the minus t in the above equation. You say that just you will observe x of minus t equivalent to the xe of minus t plus x naught of minus t. Already know that it is a even function is a cosine function. So therefore cos of minus theta equal to cos theta, there is no doubt at all. So from that results you say that from the even function also xc of minus t equal to xc of t. So therefore you may apply xc of t as it is minus x naught of minus t equal minus x naught t. So like this. Then you will solving from the above two equations to say that x of t plus x of minus t equivalent to the, how we will get the results. Just you will observe that solving these two equations, xe of t equivalent to the half into of x of t plus x of minus t. If we will take the another, what we did actually, adding of 1 and 2 equations. Now we will solving the odd function, I mean x naught of t, then we will get the subtraction, 1 minus 2 equivalent to the. So x naught of t equivalent to the half into x of t minus x of minus t. So this is the results, the even and odd decomposition of a signal. So in a problematic, we used to take these formulas by using of these results. Again you take it as the hyperbolic sine and cosine functions to say. So already we know that sine hyperbolic function which is equivalent to the e power s minus e power minus s by 2. But cos hyperbolic function which is the e power x plus e power minus x by 2, whatever it may be. So odd and even functions to say that sine of minus sine hyperbolic of minus x equal to minus sine hyperbolic x, cos of hyperbolic minus cos hyperbolic of minus x equal to cos hyperbolic x. These the formulas, the even and odd decomposition of a signals. So now even and odd decomposition of a signal, just we will take a simple example. Find the even and odd components of the signal. What they were given here, x of t equal to e power minus 2t into cos t. Just you say that again you have to replace the t by minus t. So therefore x of minus t equivalent to the e power 2t into cos of minus t. Again you know that the cos of minus t is nothing but a cos t, because the cos of minus theta equal to cos theta. So therefore x of minus t equal to e power 2t into cos t. So again you will take a even component xe of t equivalent to, already know that the previous equation, just we have to substitute these two values here, half into x of t plus x of minus t. So what we got, the given data is the actual problem is x of t equal to e power minus 2t into cos t, and what we got by replacing of the minus t is x of minus t equal to e power 2t cos t. So these two values should be substituted here, and we will get the results is cos t common. So therefore e power 2t minus e power 2t plus e power minus 2t by 2. What is the function generally? E power x plus e power minus x by 2. E power x plus e power minus x by 2 is the cosine function, cos hyperbolic function. So you will get the results is cos hyperbolic 2t into cos t. This is a good example for even odd decomposition of a signal. So now again one more the odd component. What is the odd component for the extension of that? Half into x of t minus x of minus t. So therefore whatever we got the results, that should be substituted here, and you will get the cos t is common and the e power minus 2t minus e power 2t by 2. So therefore which indicates that the sine function, because the sine what is the sine function, already know that e power minus s minus e power s by 2, which is equal to minus sine hyperbolic 2t, because sine hyperbolic function means e power x minus e power minus x by 2 generally, but you will take it is the reverse order, so minus sine hyperbolic of 2t into cos t. So this is the odd component, that is the even component. This is the way to decomposition of the even and odd of a given signal. Now we will coming to the complex valued signal. That is the even and odd simple signals. But you will come into the complex symmetry. What is the complex signals? For example, you say that the real value plus imaginary value is called the complex signal. For example, you say 3 plus j4 is a complex number. Otherwise, a plus ix, this is a complex number. A plus jb is a complex number, like that. Now we will come into the conjugate symmetry. Complex valued signal, the conjugate symmetry. So now a complex value signal x of t is said to be a conjugate symmetry if x of minus t equivalent to the x star of t. That is a conjugate. So now x of t equal to what actually? A of t plus jb of t. X star of t equivalent to the, that is a complex conjugate. So a of t minus j b of t. So now you remember that the equations, first equation is x of minus t equal to x star of t. You say that because the conjugate symmetry. So therefore x of t equal to a of t plus j b of t, x star of t equal to a of t minus j b of t. So now substitute the above equations 2 and 3 in 1. What is the first equation we have? First equation is x of t equivalent to the x of minus t equivalent to the x star of t, like that. So therefore, yeah, just to see, this is the equation 1. These 2 and 3 equations are substituted in equation 1. Then you will get a of minus t plus jb of minus t equal to a of t minus jb of t. Equating the real parts. Where is the real parts? A of minus t and a of t, both are the real parts, left and right sides. So equating real part, equating the imaginary parts. So inference here, the complex valued signal x of t is a conjugate symmetry if its the real part is even and the imaginary part is odd. So you know that what is generally used to take generally, if for example e power x is there, how will write cos x minus I sin x by 2, like this. So therefore even function and odd functions. Even function indicates the cosine and the odd function indicates the sine. So the complex valued signal x of t is a conjugate symmetry if its a real part is even and its imaginary part is odd. So now, good example for this. What is the example here? The signals x1 of t and x2 of t shown in figure constitute the real and imaginary parts respectively of a complex valued signal x of t. What form of symmetry does x of t have? Just you will see that this is the figure A, you say that here, this is the cosine function. Figure B indicates that the sine function. x1 of t is a cosine. What is the time period? Minus t1 by t2, t1 by 2 plus t1 by 2. Here also same. But what is the difference? First one is the cosine function, second one is the sine function. So this is called the conjugate symmetry generally, right? You observed by using of this figure. So now the next, this is about the even and odd functions. We did a lot of examples for understanding purpose. Now we are coming to the classification of signal. The third one is the periodic and aperiodic or non-periodic signals. What is the basic difference of the periodic and non-periodic signals? A continuous time period signal is a function of time that satisfies the condition. So therefore x of t is equivalent to the x of t plus t for all t, where t is the positive constant, you say that. Any number t or whatever it may be. The angular frequency m is equivalent to the 2nf radians per second. So therefore here, just to observe that the figure, here the figure A indicates that this is the periodic signal because the instant is there. What is the t? 0.2 here. The same 0.2, 0.2, 0.2, 0.2 like this up to 1. So this is a periodic. If you take here, there is no edge. So therefore this is called the aperiodic or the non-periodic. So this is about the periodic and non-periodic difference. So here continuous periodic signal is a function of time that satisfies the condition x of t is equal to x of t plus t for all times. So where t is the positive constant. So you say that the angular frequency omega is equal to 2 pi f like this. So therefore here m is equal to 2 nf radians per second. Now we will say the periodic and aperiodic signal, that is about the continuous. This is about the discrete time periodic signal. It is a function of time that satisfies the condition x of n is equal to x of n plus capital N. Previously what we have actually, x of t is equal to x of t plus capital T for all t. Now you will say that instead of t we say n, because it is a discrete time signal which is indicated by n. So therefore x of n is equal to x of n plus n for a integer n, where capital N is a positive integer. Fundamental angular frequency say that omega is equal to 2n by n. Previously what we have, m is equal to 2nf, but here n is a number, generally you say that. So therefore the omega is equal to fundamental angular frequency in the discrete signals, discrete time periodic signal. You say that omega is equal to 2n by n radians. So according to this figure, just you have to observe that. So here this is the periodic signals is there, positive, negative, and like this. This is the periodic. If you take here the same similarly, this is a non-periodic or aperiodic. What is the difference? The instantaneous continuous time, this is the continuous time signal in the wave should be continuous with the same instant the t values. So here also discrete, the same instants with the same n values. So therefore this is the discrete time period signal which is the function which is satisfied with the given equation, that is x of n is equal to x of n plus n, where n is the integer. So now we'll come into the example of this. Find the fundamental frequency of the discrete time square wave as shown in the figure. Just we will observe that discrete time signal can be a periodic if omega by 2n is a rational number. That is the main. You will coming to this, generally you say what is the omega. Just will observe that 2n by n actually. What is the value of n here? 8. So therefore the angular frequency is equivalent to the 2n by capital N. So therefore 2n by 8, which is equal to n by 4 radians. So from this, a discrete time signal can be a periodic if omega by 2n is a rational number. If it is a rational number, then it is a periodic wave. And of course it may be seen that clearly it observed that this is a periodic signal, but it is a discrete time signal. But we need to take the fundamental angular frequency. So therefore the periodic if omega by 2n is a rational number only. So now we will come into this second example. Determine if the sinusoidal discrete time sequence is a periodic. For example, x of n is equal to cos of 0.5n plus 8. This is the given problem actually. So again used to take, you need to find the omega value, because already know that the function x of n is equal to cos of omega n plus some value n, that is actually cos of omega n plus n, capital N. So therefore here just you will observe that in that particular formula should be related to the given equation. So therefore what is the value of omega here? 0.5 is the value of omega, 0.5. So therefore used to take, so we will go through that. Here the omega is equal to 0.5 by 2n. So therefore you will get what is the results. This is the irrational number. So therefore aperiodic signal. This is a aperiodic signal, because just you will observe that x of n is equal to x of n plus n. So what is omega? Omega is equal to 2n by n. 2n by n. That means you may take n is equal to what? Omega n by 2. So therefore used to take from this, omega is equal to 0.5 by 2n, then it is a irrational number, so therefore this signal is a periodic signal. Now we'll take the linear combination of two CT signals, superposition principle, just to see. Here just let g of t equal to x1 of t plus x2 of t, where x1 of t is a periodic with the fundamental period t1 and x2 is the periodic with the fundamental period t2. If these two are the periodic signals, then what is the value of g of t? Is it a periodic or not? Then we will find by using of this the time periods of these two, t1 by t2 is a rational, then the fundamental period of gt is equivalent to the n t1 equal to n t2. N t1 is equal to n t2. So this is these two the relates like that. Then g of t is a periodic. Example, by using of the just determine if the g of t is a periodic. If yes, find the fundamental period. For example, used to take this problem, g of t equal to 3 sin 4 nt plus 7 cos 3 nt. So how we are going to find the answer? Just to see this, what is the time t1? This is 3 sin 4 nt is the first signal, second signal 7 cos 3 nt. t1 is equal, what is the time period of t1? Just to see 2n by m, where m is the 4n, you say that, therefore 2n by 4n, which is equal to 1 by 2 second. t2 is the same, 2n by t2, n2. What was the value here? 3n. So 2n by 3n, so 2 by 3 seconds. So t1 by t2 is equal to what? t1 by t2 is equal to 1 by 2 by 2 by 3. So what is the answer? 3 by 4 will get it. So therefore t1 by t2 is the rational. Therefore the periodic fundamental period nt1 or nt2 is 2 seconds, generally you say that. So this is about the good example for the periodic and aperiodic signals. We did at least 3-4 problems in each case. Now we will come into the deterministic and the random signals. What is the deterministic signal? This is a signal, that means the deterministic signal is a signal about which there is no uncertainty with respect to its value at any time. Okay, that means what actually? Just you will observe that a deterministic signal, which is we say that the prediction, the perfect, I mean you say it is about there is no uncertainty. The certainty will be the perfect with respect to its value at any time. That is the deterministic signal. That means we can expect. That is the deterministic. It can find. If you come into the random signal, a random signal is a signal about which there is uncertainty before it occurs. We cannot expect that, like the ECG signal and like that, right? So this is the random signal, the deterministic signal. This is the difference between them. How we are going to find these two signals? By using of some relation is there. So now we'll coming to this the energy signal and what we call the power signals. How we'll say that? Instantaneous. What is the relation between the energy and power? Already you know that the power is equivalent to the V square by R generally. So in electrical engineering, now we'll coming to the electromagnetics. It is a little bit different. P is equivalent to the E cross H. And we'll coming to this, in terms of the electric fields, P is equivalent to the E square by eta, where E by H is equivalent to the eta, where E is equivalent to the eta into H, where eta is the free space impedance generally. So that is the relation between the power and electric field intensity in electromagnetic theory. So now we'll come into the energy and signals, energy and power signals. Here, instantaneous power, we say that the P of t equal to the V square of t by R, or you say that the P of t equal to I square of t into R, or R I square of t. If you will say R is equivalent to the 1 ohm, then x of t represents the current or voltage, then instantaneous power is P of t equal to the x square of t. So here, just to see, we consider that the resistance value is 1, then what is the relation 1 ohm, what is the relation between power and the voltage or power and the current? So you say that clearly P of t equal to x square of t, where x is either voltage or power, because both are the proportional to power. So here, what is the average power? Average with respect to the time is the time average power. So here, the total energy of a continuous time signal is E is equivalent to the limit t tends to infinity. So here, the variation is, you say that the minus infinity to plus infinity, you say that the time period minus t by 2 to t by 2 x square of t into dt. If you will take, this is the t tends to infinity, so therefore minus infinity to plus infinity x square of t into dt. This is the energy signal, you say that. Now, the time average power or the average power, you say that P is equal to the limit t tends to infinity 1 by t integral of minus t by t to t by 2 x square of t into dt. If the signal is periodic with period t, then you will take P is equivalent to the 1 by t integral of minus t by 2 to t by 2 x square of t into dt. So that means what actually? If it is infinite, then that is called the power. What is the energy signal? If it have some time period, you say that, then the power is, which is equivalent to the 1 by t integral of minus t by t to plus t by 2 into x square of t into dt. So the discrete time signal, you say that total energy of a discrete time signal is E is equivalent to the sigma of minus infinity to plus infinity x square of n. So this is the discrete. What is the difference between there and here? Here you say that in terms of summing, you say here sum of minus infinite to plus infinite x square of n. This is the discrete time signal, energy signal. This is average power signal in this, the discrete time. Limit n tends to infinity 1 by 2n of sigma n to minus n to n, minus n to plus n, x square of n. Average power in a periodic signal x of n with a fundamental period of n. Previously what we have? Periodic signal x of t there, but here x of n. So here P is equal to 1 by 2n sigma of minus n to plus n x square of n. So here you say the energy signal if is in between 0 to infinity, power signal if P in between 0 to infinity. Usually periodic signals are viewed as a power signals and non-periodic signals as a energy signals. The conclusion is, if the periodic signal, it says that it is a periodic, then that signal is called the power. If it is a non-periodic or aperiodic signal, that is called the energy signals. The power signal has infinite energy, energy signal has a zero average power. These the basic points, very, very important for further problems. So now, used to take a good example for this is find the energy of the signal. If you will take x of n is equal to the 3 signals they are given, n where n is in between 0 and 5, 10 minus n where n is in between 5 and 10, and 0 otherwise. That means what actually? If the signal is always in between 0 and 10 only, beyond that the signal is equivalent to this 0. That means just you will take, this is a discrete time signal. Therefore, if you want to find whether it is energy or the power signal, find first you have to take the energy signal. sigma minus infinite to plus infinite x square of n. What they were given here, x of n, already we know that. So therefore sigma, what is the limit? N is equal to 0 to 4 because less than 5. 0 to 4, then n square because x square of n. So therefore n square plus second n is equal to 5 to 10 in between are equal. So therefore 10 minus n whole square. Last one is 0. So therefore no problem. Now you will find it. Where n is equal to 0 to 4, what is the n square values? N square values 0 plus 1 plus 4, I mean 0 square plus 1 square plus 2 square plus 3 square plus 4 square. That means 0 plus 1 plus 4 plus 9 plus 16 for the first step. Plus n is equal to 5 to 10. Here you substitute 5, 10 minus 5 whole square, 5 square 25 plus 10 minus 6, 4 square 16 plus 10 minus 7, 3 square plus 10 minus 8 square, 2 square, 10 minus 9 square, 1 square. So therefore you will get 85. So that means the sum signal is deterministic. This is about the average. So now determine if x of n is a power or energy signal. Already we know that here we found the value of energy here 85 joules in the previously. Now we'll get the one signal they were given. You have to determine whether it is a power or energy signal. It is also a discrete time signal. So therefore x of n is equal to the sin n, where n is in between minus 4 to plus 4, in between minus n is equivalent or less than or equivalent to the minus 4 to the plus 4. So otherwise it is 0. Again energy signal, you say that sigma minus infinite to plus infinite x square of n. Now you may take the sin square of nn, sin square of nn. Again you may apply that minus 4 to plus 4 here. 1 minus, what is the sin square? Sin square theta equal to 1 minus cos 2 theta by 2. That is applied here. Just to have to put the 1 minus cos 2nn by 2. So therefore you will apply the value of minus 4 to plus 4 in this equation and you will get the 0. Finally it is the value is 0. Then P is equivalent to the 0 in the aperiodic, neither energy nor power signal this is. And now another example, you take it as this is the continuous time signal. X of t equal to the 3 instants they were given, t 2 minus t at 0, t where it is the x of t is equal to t is in between 0 and 1. X of t equal to 2 minus t, where t is in between 1 and 2, and otherwise it is 0. So whether the signal is energy or power. So we'll coming to this the aperiodic signal. So therefore E equal to minus infinite to plus infinite x square of t into dt. So therefore what is the t in between 0 and 1? So therefore 0 to 1, that is the t square into dt, plus here second one t in between 1 and 2. So therefore 1 to 2, 2 minus t whole square into dt. Again you simplified that and you will get here the 1 by 3, because the t cube by 3, 1 to 0, that means 1 by 3. And here the same a minus b whole square form is there. Then we will apply and we will get the results is like this, 2 by 3 joules finite energy. So therefore it is a energy signal. So this is about the signal classification with a lot of examples for the understanding purpose. So now these the problems, find the even and odd components of each of the following signals. Just you have to practice in your house. This is the homework for you. If if you have to write these problems, and will solve it and submit to me by online uh, through the Google this one, or otherwise send to my mail. Okay, right? So now you'll say that those problems already given, and here the solutions also there for this. Okay, I will give the briefing about the problem. Whatever the problem they are given here, the cos t plus sin t plus sin t cos t. So cos t plus sin t is common, 1 plus cos t here, that is x of t signal. X of minus t we will apply with the previously what we did the same. So therefore we will get the even and odd signals. So same for the all problems, just you will do yourself. This is the homework for you. And now the another tutorial, the for each of these following signals, determine whether it is a periodic, and if it is find the fundamental period. So similarly you have to do these problems. We will take the first one is x of t equal to cos square of 2nt. So again you may take what is the cos square theta? Cos square theta equal 1 plus cos 2 theta by 2. That formula you have to apply, and you have to apply the x of t is equal to so and so, and you may get the 1 by 2 plus cos 4 and nt by 2 like this. So therefore 0.5 plus 0.5 cos 4 nt, it is a periodic. So therefore t is equal to the 2n by m, already know that. So therefore t is equal to the 2n by 4n, which is equal to 1 by 2 seconds. So it is a periodic. So similarly you take, this is another problem, x of t equal to sin cube of 2t. So already you know that what is the formula for the sin 3 theta? Sin 3 theta is equal to 3 sin theta minus 4 sin cube theta. By using of that formula you have to simplify that. Sin cube of x is equal to 3 sin s minus sin 3s by 4, or x, whatever it may be. So here the you have to apply the x of t is equal to, by using of the above formula, this will be substitute here. Instead of that sin cube of 2t, you may replace the equation like this. So 3 sin 2t minus sin 6t by 4. From this figure you say that t1 is equal to what? 2n by 2. That is called the n seconds. And the t2 is equal to 2n by 6 from the equation. So n by 3 seconds. Now t1 by t2 is equal to n by n, which is equal to the 3 by 1, which is a rational. So x of t is a periodic, and where t is the n seconds, right? And similarly this is the exponential function, just will say this is a decay here like this. This is a non-periodic signal. Okay, and now this is again x of n is equal to minus 1 whole power n. In the previous one, that this is 1 minus 1 1 minus 1 like this, with the periodic with the n is equal to 2 samples for the given one. So again minus 1 whole power n square, which is again n square x of n is equal to what? N square and x of n. So n is the periodic with the 2 samples, n is equal to. If you come into the x of n is equal to cos 2n, discrete one, the same, this is also discrete. So therefore here you say that the omega by 2n is equal to 1 by n. So therefore the irrational, and it is a non-periodic one, right? Categorize the use of the following signals as an energy signal or the power signal, and find the energy or the time average power. Just all of you please note it down. This is the problem given, and you have to do this by using of your mind. Okay, so this is the same, you have to find it. They classify the signals as the energy or the power, just to observe that here. Okay, so A and B figures you say, this is the periodic, this is a periodic, like a periodic, yeah, a periodic signal, that is E is equal to the minus 2 to 2 phi square into dt. Just to observe that 5 amplitude minus 2 to 2 is the time period. So therefore minus 2 to 2 and the phi square into t, phi square 25. That means 100 joules is there finite. This is called the energy signal. Periodic t is equal to the 8s, and the same you will apply that p is equal to 1 by t by integral of minus t by 2 to t by 2 x square of t into dt, where the time period is the minus 2 plus 2 and the t value is the 8. So therefore 1 by 8 integral of minus 2 to 2 and the phi square into dt, which is equal to 12.5 watts, which is the finite power. This is the power signal, you say that. So the basic operation on the signal, generally used to take the basic operations of the signals, that is the operations and depends on the variables. You say that in signals and systems always we consider these what we call the formulas like amplitude scaling, addition, multiplication, differentiation, integration, and these are the dependent variables, operations and dependent variables. If you come into the independent variables, the time scaling and the time shifting, these operations will come into the picture actually. So now we'll coming to the operations of the dependent variables. What is the operations of the dependent variables? Okay, we'll see in the next class for the operations on the dependent variables and the independent variables, like all these things. Okay, thanks for watching this video, right?